You believed their love was a harbor. You trusted them with the map to your wounds, and they burned the coastline. This person betrayed you, and that betrayal is not just a broken promise. It is a lesson the heart resists learning. Listen, betrayal arrives like a late train, silent at first, then loud enough to rearrange the whole station of your life. You remember the small things, the way they laughed at your jokes, the private nickname whispered at 3 a.m., the habit of returning your hand when you reached out across the couch. Those details are the scaffolding of trust. When one beam collapses, the whole structure quizzes your memory. Did I build on sand, or was the foundation always rock? Imagine holding a mirror up to the past and watching it tilt until the reflection is someone you no longer recognize. That disorientation tastes like salt and metal, like the moment you realize your heart had been asked to carry someone else's shadow. There's anger, yes, explosive, righteous, hot enough to scorch. There's grief, slow, deeper than you thought possible. There's a quieter thing beneath both, the dawning comprehension that letting go is not forgetting. It's learning to stop taking an ember back into your palms. Tonight I'll walk you through the hard lesson betrayal teaches: how to see what's real, how to grieve what's lost, how to take your life back without becoming the version of yourself that was betrayed. Stay with me. If you still feel the echo of their footsteps in your rooms, this is for you. You loved them like sunrise, and then the light changed. There is a peculiar silence that follows betrayal, not the dramatic kind you see in movies, but a hush that lives inside your chest. It is the silence of questions that have no immediate answers. Why did this happen? When did the map change? Where did the small, everyday certainties go? You wake, and your hand reaches for a presence that is no longer there. Your mornings become rehearsals for a life you no longer belong to. That emptiness is the first part of the lesson. It tells you truthfully that something deep was taken, and that the pain is the proof of what you dared to trust. Philosophers have described this space as liminal, a corridor between who you were and who you must become. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." In those first days, choice feels like a luxury. Survival takes over. You check messages, you replay conversations, you assign meaning to every missed call. This is natural. It is also dangerous, because the mind will stitch a narrative out of fragments, and often at the cost of your peace. Consider a real-life image, a vase once whole, now on the floor, shards glinting. Each fragment holds a sliver of memory, a joke, a whispered plan, a photograph. You crouch, fingers bleeding, trying to fit pieces together, hoping to restore what was. But sometimes the vase cannot be made whole again. The skill here is not to mend it back to its former shape, but to decide which fragments you keep and which you let slide into the dustbin of what was. Reflective takeaway. Allow the silence to be your teacher. Sit with the questions without forcing answers. Distinguish between investigation and obsession. One helps you learn, the other keeps you trapped. Practice one small act of reclamation each day, a walk without replaying the past, a call to a friend, writing the feelings down. These modest choices begin reorienting your internal compass. Betrayal doesn't just break trust, it rearranges who you think you are. When betrayal happens, it often arrives with a secondary wound, a sudden, disorienting change in self-perception. You begin to suspect your own judgment, your worth, even the facts of what you remember. That inner voice, once steady, becomes an anxious commentator, questioning every choice you made that allowed this to happen. "If only I hadn't trusted," it whispers. "If only I were kinder, smarter, different." This is the cruel echo of betrayal. It tries to recruit you into complicity by convincing you that you are the architect of your own undoing. Philosophy teaches us that the self is not a fixed fortress, but a narrative we construct. Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." When betrayal collapses familiar meanings, you lose the why for a while. The challenge is not to deny the pain, which is real and valid, but to avoid surrendering to a rewritten story where you are only the mistake. Your memories are not evidence of gullibility. They are testimony to your capacity for connection. Imagine a photographer whose negatives were double exposed, two images layered so that faces blur into landscapes. At first, every print looks wrong, and the photographer blames the light. But with careful attention, they begin to separate the layers, to notice which shapes belong to the person and which belong to the background. Similarly, you can learn to disentangle what the betrayal says about them from what it implies about you. Their choice to betray reveals their values, their fears, their fractures, not the sum of your worth. Reflective takeaway. Practice a reality check ritual. Each time doubt floods you, write the tangible facts. What happened? What was said? What choices were made? Then list what you know about yourself that remains true. Your kindness, your curiosity, your commitments. Over time, these lists rebuild the mirror, clearer, less susceptible to distortion. Anger is a blade. Learn how to hold it without being cut. Anger arrives like weather, sudden, fierce, and unbidden. It colors everything, makes each memory a coal you can throw or hold. Many of us are taught to fear anger, to pretend it isn't there, or to mistake its heat for something to be ashamed of. But anger after betrayal is not merely destructive. It is information. It tells you that a boundary was crossed, that a promise was violated, that your dignity was not honored. The question is not whether you will feel it, you will, but what you will do with it. Stoic wisdom reminds us that emotions are impressions we can examine. Marcus Aurelius advised treating impulses like guests at a table. Notice them, hear them, but do not let them rearrange the house. Practically, this means giving your anger a form without letting it become the story. Write an unsent letter that names every wound. Run until your breath is clean. Pound a pillow. Name the unfairness out loud. These acts are not petty. They are methods of translation, turning volatile heat into words and movement so it can be understood rather than acted on blindly. Consider the analogy of controlled burn in a forest. Fire, when harnessed, clears undergrowth, renews soil, and makes room for fresh growth. Left unchecked, it consumes indiscriminately. In your inner landscape, channeling anger with intention functions like a controlled burn. You set the borders, you permit yourself to feel, but you also decide the map of response. That might mean setting hard boundaries with the person who betrayed you, or it might mean choosing a path of radical non-engagement. Either way, the aim is to reclaim agency. Reflective takeaway. Translate rage into strategy. Ask yourself, what boundary was crossed, and how will I protect it going forward? Decide one concrete action, a conversation, a decision to end contact, a legal step, or a personal ritual of closure. Then pair that action with a restorative practice. Sleep, proper meals, counseling, gentle movement. Anger without care exhausts you. Anger with structure empowers you. Letting go is not a single act. It is a series of small, brave departures. Letting go after betrayal is often misrepresented as a dramatic moment. A final phone call, a tossed photograph, a cinematic walk into sunlight. In truth, it is quieter and more cunning. A slow recalibration of habits, loyalties, and the tiny rituals that once bound you to someone else. The heart does not flip a switch. It relearns rhythm. You will find yourself in rooms that still smell like them, at playlists that catch your throat, at anniversaries where you rehearse the goodbye. These aren't failures. They are the geography of healing. Each step away is a negotiation with memory, a decision to stop carrying what was never meant to be borne alone. Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. That is not a call to become cold or unfeeling, but an invitation to discriminate. Love what is alive, release what is poisoned. Forgiveness, then, is not an endorsement of the betrayal. It is, at its most radical, an act of liberation, not for the betrayer, but for the betrayed. To forgive can mean carving out peace, so that your days no longer orbit around someone else's choices. It can mean choosing to refuse bitterness as your inherited lot. Think of a gardener pruning a vine that has twined around a young tree. The vine may have once offered shade and sweetness, but now it chokes growth. Pruning hurts the first day, but it allows the tree to strengthen, to reach light in its own direction. Letting go is that pruning, painful, intentional, life-giving. It asks you to tend to soil, rebuild friendships, pursue work that honors you, cultivate rituals that return ritual to your mornings and wonder to your nights. Reflective takeaway: create a letting go ritual that is concrete and repeated. It might be writing a letter and burning it safely, planting something that symbolizes new growth, or leaving an object behind with a spoken goodbye. Pair this with a commitment to one forward-facing practice for 30 days, a morning walk, 30 minutes of creative work, a new weekly call with a friend. Small, consistent acts reweave the neural paths that betrayal frayed. Closing reflection. Betrayal makes a new map of who you are possible. It marks the terrain where old trust collapsed, but it also reveals where new values can root. You will carry scars, and those scars are not shameful. They are the cartography of survival. Marcus Aurelius urged us to welcome obstacles because they show us what we are. Let this be true for you. The hurt showed what you loved. The recovery reveals what you can become.